everybody, I'm Aksichan, and I'll be taking you on a journey through our minds. Yes, our minds and our society. September is marked as the Suicide Awareness and Prevention Month, which is much needed today. It has always been needed, but I'm glad that we're fully celebrating it now, and for a couple of years we have been celebrating the brave souls who are fighting and not giving up. So we should really clap for them for all their efforts and being out there strong and not giving up to death. So you're really amazing people. So statistics have shown that around 5,000 to 15,000 people die because of suicide globally per year. And it's very sad how we have to lose so many people to suicide. And during the pandemic, even though the numbers haven't risen, but because of depression, anxiety, and other mental disorders that people have gotten staying at home and losing their jobs, losing their family members, there has been fear that this number would rise, and it could rise because of lack of awareness about how you could help these people and what these people go through. So it is our job to understand what suicidal people go through and what are the ways that we can help them in. So first of all is that we are not supposed to tell them that they are sinners to think of suicide or they're weak. That is the most nonsense thing one could tell to a person who is suicidal, because telling them something that could cause them more depression and make them overthink more is what's leading them to suicide. So please remove these words as soon as you think of telling somebody. They're not going to help them. They're going to make them worse. Some of the things that you could tell them is by understanding what they're going through. People can go through social problems, financial problems, and their own personal internal problems. Some of the problems that are listed by experts are mental illness itself, having depression, anxiety, OCD. These things can make you hate yourself and want to kill yourself. Then you have traumatic stress. You could have a trauma from your, anything from your childhood, which could lead you to suicide. Then you have substance use. Some medicines, even if they're medically prescribed by the doctor, if they're taken, wrongly, not intentionally, unintentionally, they can even lead to several problems where people commit suicide. Other than that, you have loss or fear of loss. Some people think if they don't succeed in something, they would lose everything, and thus they commit suicide. As nonsense as you think this is, it is not. Because people do have fear that they could lose something. And if they lose that, they lose their whole lives. So it is something you need to understand that can cause suicide. We also have hopelessness that comes with depression. You become hopeless that if you lost something, lost a job, there's no hope for you anymore. And that is one big reason that people commit suicide. You have chronic pain or illness. Now, some people have such illnesses that they think there is nothing left in this world and they need to end their lives before the illness ends them. We have, there are people who had cancer and they killed themselves because they thought before cancer could take them over, they would have their hair off and they would be so ill on bed. They just killed themselves before that. Now, if somebody actually gave the motivation to live, that wouldn't have happened. But, sadly, nobody understands what the other person is going through, and thus these things happen. When a person is suicidal, they don't feel loved or as if somebody cares for them. They feel as if everything is gone. They feel targeted by somebody, as if they're bullied or they're, other people are hating on them. They're also fears that they're going to disappoint somebody, big fears of being what others are not, what others expect you to be. You want to be that, but when you're not able to be that, you just feel as if you're a disappointment and you're not gonna do good to them. So that leads to this feeling of just killing yourself for good, which is something nobody should ever feel. As people who could potentially be around suicidal people, because you never know who's going through a hard time, it is our job to understand the signs in somebody. When somebody says they're not feeling loved, when somebody says they feel like they're a disappointment, somebody says they feel like they're a burden, or any other such sentences you could feel that a person who's depressed or somebody who is hopeless could say, take it as a sign. Don't take it lightly. So many of us take things lightly, like, oh, it's gonna be okay. If somebody sometimes calls us at night 3 o'clock, we just ignore it. We say, it's not gonna be important. It is important. You never know, somebody's going through some hard time. They're calling you for hope. You might be somebody's they think, let me just call this person before I do this act, maybe they can help me. You should always be out there to help others, help such people, because it is our job as people, in a society. We need to be there for each other. If somebody tells you we're not feeling loved, you're supposed to tell them what, how much they mean for you. And sometimes there are some people who you're not too close with, but even if you're lying to them, or even if even if it's a white lie, and you tell them you mean a lot to me, that could save them, that could miraculously save them. And I bet if you know that you saved somebody, that's gonna be the best feeling in the world. To tell somebody that you care about them, you love them, is so important. To tell them how much you're proud of them and how much good they're doing, it is a kind of satisfaction. Everybody wants that. Everybody wants to feel as if they're wanted, as if they're loved. They're useful in this world. Humans need purpose to live. Humans need purpose. So be kind to people. Don't say hurtful things. Don't say things that could lead others to kill themselves. As for the people who are suicidal and might be watching the video, I want to tell you that you're amazing, and there is nothing in this world that could lessen your worth. You are doing great, and you don't have to feel worthless. You're not supposed to live for somebody. You're supposed to live for yourself. You're supposed to love yourself, care for yourself, and not disappoint yourself. And even if you fail somewhere in life, that's not disappointing. You get up again and you keep on going. Please do not feel the need, like as if the world does not need you. The world needs you. This world, how we have these jokes about, oh, the world before your opinion or before you was the same and after you is the same. It's not going to be the same. We are linked to each other. We're humans. We're linked to each other, and one person going creates a huge void in other person's lives. You could be a beautiful thing in your neighbor's life. You could be smiling to them, and that makes their day. You could be amazing. You're amazing in many ways, and to yourself, you should be self-sufficient. You are. One thing I keep in mind every time I feel unloved, I'm like, my first fan should be myself. I should love myself. And I, as a person who's religious, the people who are not religious could not relate to this, but I tell myself God loves me, and it really keeps me motivated. For people who are not religious, as I always say, you should love yourself. It doesn't matter what others think, it's what you think about yourself, and you should always think nice about yourself. You did not come to this world to please others, or you shouldn't seek others' validation. You are yourself sufficient, and you are amazing. Just know that. And always be positive and don't give up. So that's all for this video, and I always give my socials in the description box down below. And I'm a very friendly person, always ready to listen to anybody. And if you think I could be of any help to you, which I would love to be, and I'm always there to help you, so you can totally message me and tell me how you're feeling. I would love to listen to you, and I would love to tell you how much you just messaging me means to me. You know, it's itself is, you know, I feel happy that somebody messages me and tells me, oh, I don't feel well. You know, it really, you know, gives me a responsibility and makes me happy that I can help somebody. And you asking for help is something that's very nice and not embarrassing at all. What's going to be between you and me is going to stay between you and me. So I made this whole, you know, YouTube and everything for such people, and for us to be a beautiful community who supports each other and is, you know, loving and cares for each other. So let's just achieve that goal. Other than that, you can check out my webtoon, which is in the description box too. You can check out the different ideas I depict on what goes through our minds as people who are sometimes depressed or suffer anxiety or other social issues. I would love to have your support and your love, and always give me your feedback. That really encourages me. As a person who lately started YouTube, I really like your feedback, you know, in the comment section. I love to read your comments, and I would like your recommendations on my Instagram, which is linked to YouTube. You can go and give me recommendations. Almost every day I post something about you know, how you feel and everything. You can go interact there with me. It would be really amazing. And my art account, I always tell you, you can support me if you like. You can go check out my art, and if it makes you happy, you can tell me that too. You know, it's all about what I do should be there to help others and to make them happy and put a smile on their faces. Thank you. Goodbye.